So, almost all of our listeners are on BP. It's great. They also find, a lot of value in our podcast here for the local insights. The books you just mentioned are great. Anything from 𝗤𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃. But one of the things that Mark and I harp about is we hate hearing when someone says, oh, after I read this book or after I go to this conference, you've referenced in the book, a lack of knowledge is not what it takes to get ahead. The solution is psychological, not tactical. Dive in there, man. We've heard you rant about this before. The floor is yours. Let's talk a little about this.
So I'll tell you the motivation for why this is really important to me. A is just you want to see people get ahead. And the way that the human brain works, just from my experience and the experience documented by other people I respect, I don't have like studies to prove this, but you learn through, I don't know, science hasn't created a fancy definition, I know, but you just learn from doing. If you want to go learn jujitsu, when you get in there and roll with somebody and whatever you didn't work, there's a different kind of acceptance of knowledge that, okay, I don't know as much as I thought, my way doesn't work. When you tried it your best and you failed at it, you could have someone make an argument to you on a PowerPoint and show you all the ways that maybe jujitsu has been shown to be a better thing for this job you're trying to accomplish. It's not the same in your head. I don't know, like the emotions don't get attached or whatever. And so when people are selling knowledge, even though it's been shown in so many ways, knowledge doesn't create lasting change or impact. It's often because they're taking advantage of the person buying it. So there's all these like gurus out there charging $100,000 to teach you how to flip a house, or courses that are out there that want a lot of money. And what they're offering is knowledge. Like literally, sometimes they just give you a big binder with a bunch of words in it and say, here you go. You got the knowledge. But in order to get you to do that, they have to sell you on the fact that what you're missing is knowledge. And that's not true. What you're missing is not knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere. It's on podcasts. It's on YouTube. It's in books. You could buy a book for $20 that has all the knowledge you need. It's like you could read a book about jujitsu. It's not going to help you in a fight. It just doesn't matter until that becomes like what I would say kinetic knowledge. Your body understands there's muscle memory associated with what you're trying to do. You need that in business. You need that in investing. What people need to do if they want to learn something is throw themselves into that world. Okay. Like the old method of apprenticeship that we don't have anymore is one of the saddest things. Like that's part of the downside that came out of all these like labor regulations is now companies can't offer apprenticeships, which is where people learn the most. You jump into this thing, you learn it, you don't make any money at it in the beginning, but you get exposed to it until you build up this skill set that actually becomes something that can make you money. So people listening to podcasts like this is not bad. It is not wrong to listen to podcasts. It's not like knowledge has no inherent value. The problem is it is sold to you as if that's it. That's the only ingredient that you need to be able to build this cake. Here's a bunch of sugar. Okay. You also need the egg and the flour and whatever other stuff people put in. I don't bake. I don't know hardly anything about it, but I know you don't have a cake unless you have everything together. And then you need the skills to put them in the right way and to put it in the oven for the right amount of time. Like just having the ingredients alone doesn't make a cake either. There's a skill of application that goes into it that is also present in things like real estate investing. So take this knowledge you're getting and then say, what is a safe way for me to go apply this? You don't want to go jump into a street fight, but can I go into an academy and have a nice safe role with another person and learn a little bit more, get some more knowledge, then go into application? You kind of have to have both. So I rant all the time because the expectation people have is if you tell me what to do, that is the same as making me good at doing it. And it could not be further from the truth. Okay. Like Bruce Lee can tell me this is what you do to throw a kick. That does not mean that my body can go out there and make that kick the way that Bruce Lee could do it, who's done it 10,000 times.
Yeah, no, that's it's so true. I tell people often, I started my real estate journey back in 2002, 2003. And you didn't have, I always tell people, you guys are lucky. You have podcasts, you have meetups, you have audiobooks and all that. But probably the reality of my success was I just had to figure it out. I just had to jump in and do all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And now the dichotomy is I probably made a lot more mistakes without having both the experience and the podcast to back it up. But that's ultimately me jumping in and figuring out the jujitsu moves while I was in the fight was what got me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, and there's also a I don't know the word to use to describe this phenomena that you experience, but there's a difference for how serious you take what you're being taught when you're just sitting there and people are telling you, hey, here's the way you execute the technique, versus I had someone choke me out and I did not like how that felt, and I didn't listen close enough to what to do. Now you got my attention, and this information is going to stick. Like when you're in the game and you're going to that seller to try to negotiate this off-market deal, all that information you learned about negotiating becomes very important. But when you just read the book, you're like, cool. I know it, right? It doesn't mean that you actually can apply it. You didn't role play. You didn't practice. You didn't start with something smaller and learn how to negotiate there and work up to something bigger. So sometimes walking in and getting your butt kicked by taking action creates this like soil that's fertile for the knowledge that you're now planting in it. Whereas if you're just always in the stage of nothing but knowledge, those seeds are falling on rocky ground. They never really take root.
Yeah, it's good.